If you think you need a fraud audit, a forensic accountant, or fraud investigator, or maybe you're wondering which one of these experts, if any, you need to retain, this video is for you. In this video, I will discuss the difference between a forensic audit and a fraud investigation, factors used in deciding a course of action, and how to develop a fraud response plan that works. If you are the owner of a business, have a leadership role in your organization, part of the internal or external audit function, or a litigator, this video is for you. What you learn here, you'll be able to use straight away. So let's go. A forensic audit and fraud investigation share certain characteristics, but they are not the same discipline. Forensic audit, which has become synonymous with forensic accounting, is the use of professional accounting skills in matters involving potential or actual civil or criminal litigation. The word forensic is actually defined in the dictionary as used in or suitable to courts of law or public debate. Therefore, forensic accounting is actually a form of litigation support involving accounting. Accordingly, most fraud investigations involve forensic accounting, but not all forensic accounting involves fraud investigations. Let me give you an example. A business that needs to quantify damages as part of an insurance claim would engage a forensic accountant, even if the engagement doesn't involve fraud. While fraud investigations can be conducted by either accountants or non-accountants, forensic accounting work can only be performed by accountants who eventually can be qualified as an expert in court. In addition, while forensic accounting is litigation support work that involves accounting, fraud investigations only involve anti-fraud matters. Most fraud investigations generally fall under the category of forensic accounting because the majority of fraud examinations, investigations, and reports regarding fraud are done with court and litigation being a real possibility. Forensic accounting can include many professional services. Typically, forensic accountants perform assignments involving computer forensics, electronic discovery, bankruptcies, insolvencies and reorganizations, workplace fraud investigations, calculations of economic losses, business valuations, and professional negligence. Let's talk about the factors used to decide on the course of action again. The response team should determine the appropriate course of action when fraud is suspected. In general, if an allegation of fraud-related misconduct arises, management should conduct an investigation, but there are other courses of action it might decide to take. To help decide the best course of action, management should identify a list of factors it will use to make this decision. Identifying such factors will help the response team determine whether to escalate an incident into an investigation. Each organization will have different criteria for deciding whether allegations, suspicions, qualify for a formal investigation, but common ones include credibility of the allegation, the type of incident, the subject of the allegation, the business purpose of the activity at issue, the seriousness or severity of the allegation, the potential negative impact, the likelihood that the incident will end up in court, and the ways in which prior similar incidents were handled. We realize that fraud is not something any business wants to deal with. From our experience, an advanced plan helps create a roadmap during stressful times on how to deal with fraud when it is actually happening in real time. As a team, We are here to help you make the right decisions in what you need and what type of expert you need. Our team of forensic accounting and fraud investigation experts are here to help you investigate and recover your losses. To find out more about me and the services we offer, please visit uncoverfraud.com. Also, please don't forget to subscribe below. Moving from general allegation to specific fraud investigations occurs when the full facts are unknown or unclear. That is, fraud investigations should begin with general information that is known, starting at the periphery and then moving to the more specific details. To illustrate this, consider the order of interviews in fraud investigations. In most investigations, fraud investigators should start interviewing at the periphery of all possible interview candidates and move toward the witness who appear more involved in the matters that are the subject of the examination. The usual order of interviews is as follows. Neutral third-party witnesses, starting with the least knowledgeable and moving to those who are more knowledgeable about the matters at issue. Parties suspected of complicity, starting with the least culpable and moving to the most culpable. And only then, the primary suspect or suspects of the examination. Let's talk a bit about developing a fraud response plan. When evidence of misconduct arises, management must respond in an appropriate manner that is both timely and focused. During the initial response, time is crucial. To help ensure that an organization responds to suspicious fraud-related activity efficiently, management should have a response plan in place that outlines how to respond to such issues. A fraud response plan outlines the actions that members of an organization will take when suspicions of fraud have arisen. Because every fraud is different, the response plan should not outline how a fraud examination should be conducted. Instead, the response plan should help organizations and businesses manage their responses and create environments to minimize risk and maximize the potential for success. Additionally, a response plan will allow management to respond to suspected and detected incidents of fraud in a consistent and comprehensive manner. By having a response plan in place, management will send a message that it takes fraud seriously. More specifically, the fraud response plan should guide the necessary action when potential fraud is reported or identified. Also, a response plan should not be unduly complicated. For a response plan to work in high pressure and time-sensitive situations, it must be simple to understand and administer. While the appropriate response will vary based on the event, management should include a range of scenarios in the response plan. Organizations without a fraud response plan may not be able to respond to issues properly and will likely expend more resources and suffer greater harm than those that have such a plan in place. Conversely, having a response plan puts an organization in the best position to respond promptly and effectively. The fraud response plan will include reporting protocols, a team responsible for conducting an initial assessment, factors used to decide on the course of action, litigation procedures, principles for documenting the response plan, and a template or form to report fraud incidents, and that's just to name a few. Whether an internal or external investigation has been decided on, it is important to develop a fraud process and theory when fraud is suspected. Triage is the phase where you and your team decide if it makes sense to conduct a thorough investigation. Some key questions would include who might be involved, what might have happened, why might the allegations be true, where are the possible concealment places or methods, when did this take place, is it still occurring, how is the fraud being perpetrated, determine where the evidence is likely to reside. For example, on or off book, is it internal or external? Who would be good to interview to find out more about the information and where it lives. Determine what evidence is necessary, including the number of occurrences, other areas that may have also been compromised. Put together a key witness list, supporting documentation and where it resides. Actions to allegations of fraud are usually reactive, where time is vital. Understanding which experts you need, if any, early on in the process will save you money and frustration. Always hire a specialist and do your homework up front. Better yet, if possible, find your experts and engage them before you even need them. Put them on retainer. When evidence of fraud arises, management must activate the fraud response team, the group of people tasked with responding to incidents of fraud. When activated, the response team should seek to answer the following questions. Is a formal investigation necessary? If a formal investigation is necessary, who is going to lead it? Is there a need for immediate police involvement? Is there an immediate need for legal assistance or advice, both internal or external? Is there a need for external support like forensic specialists, other experts? Is there a need for additional support, for example, access to IT facilities or a secure room, support from administration? Is there a need to devise a media strategy to deal with the issue? Is there a need to report the issue to an external third party? Should the audit committee be informed? These are just a few of the questions. My name is David Malamed, and I am a forensic accounting and fraud investigation expert. To learn more about me and the services we offer, please visit uncoverfraud.com. Thank you. Also, if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe below.